small potatoes. We purchase our potatoes from Costco, which is why you see such a large bag. And these are the finest Idaho potatoes. Now we are going to rinse them all thoroughly to make sure there's no leftover soil or dirt. And if you take a look behind the potatoes, you will see that Mom has already placed the bags of salmon in a container with warm water so that they can start thawing. We also purchase our salmon from Costco. Now we are placing the potatoes in a medium-sized pot so that we can boil them. And we are going to fill up the pot with water. I will share with you that I told my mom how many people had watched and enjoyed her first cooking video that she helped me film. And she was so excited. So it was pretty easy to convince her to help me record another ASMR video a second time. And now we are going to light up our stove and set the potatoes at low heat to boil for about 15 minutes. Now that my mom knows a bit more about ASMR, she's really good at thinking as she's cooking about what will make a good sound. And now we are moving on to our broccoli. So first we will rinse them thoroughly, just like we did with the potatoes. My mom is a big fan of not wasting any food, so I'm not sure if most people eat the leaves on this type of broccoli, but she does. I only became familiar with this type of broccoli maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I had never seen it before or tried it, but I believe it's called broccoli wrap, and it's delicious. Maybe a bit more bitter than regular broccoli, but still pretty good and very nutritious, of course. If you watched my mom's first cooking video, you may remember that she eats very, very healthy. And so her dishes usually include some protein with vegetables. She's not a big fan of unhealthy foods or sauces or adding too many condiments to a meal. She tries not to include in her diet any like overly processed foods either, which is great because that means that anytime I come over, I eat very, very well and very healthy. By now you may already know that I don't cook at all, so most of the time I'm either being fed by my husband or my mom, and I'm very lucky that both of them like to cook very healthy meals. So now we are going to add very few condiments to a glass container. For the salmon, we are adding some oregano, some sea salt, and some black pepper. The reason why my mom always adds her condiments to the bottom of the container, it's so she doesn't have to turn her proteins over, and so that they will taste like the condiments on both sides. So now she's just going back and adding all of those same 3 condiments on top: the oregano, sea salt, and black pepper. And we are now placing our salmon in my mom's itty-bitty tiny oven. I have to tell you, this is super convenient because the big oven in our apartment is mainly used for storage of all of the pots and pans at this point. Now we're doing a quick check on our potatoes, which are still boiling. We're gonna lower the temperature a bit and leave them a few more minutes. Oh, I forgot to tell you, but we put the salmon in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. Oh, did you hear that sizzling? Delicious. Now our potatoes were also done boiling, so we are going to pour all of the water out, and what you see my mom doing here is she's actually trying to cool down the potatoes. One way to do this is you can just set them aside for maybe some 30 to 45 minutes. But if you don't have the patience for that, like my mom, you can just cover them and pour some cold water on them so that they can cool down a little bit faster. The reason why my mom wanted to cool them down a bit was so that they wouldn't burn her hands when she cut them. So this is a cool little cooking trick that you can use if you're ever in a rush and you don't want to burn your hands while handling hot food. And so now what she's doing is she's cutting most of the potatoes in half. Though some of them that are pretty tiny, she is leaving them as is. And she's doing so that they're a bit easier to saute. And so now we are placing our pan at medium to high heat, and we are going to place some olive oil on it, and we're going to start sauteing our potatoes and broccoli. Now, I did not include this in the video, but another good trick that my mom used was she took a paper towel and made sure to fully dry all of the potatoes and broccolis before placing them on the pan with hot oil, so that none of the oil would splash on her too much. And after a few minutes, we are turning over all of the potatoes so that they can get that nice golden brown color on both sides. And we are adding some sea salt on them. By the way, sea salt is apparently really good compared to other types of salt. My mom researched a lot on which was the best type of salt to use, and that's why she made the switch to sea salt. And the potatoes take a bit longer, so we made those first. And now we are setting them aside to the edges of the pan, just so they stay warm, but don't keep getting too dark. And we're doing the broccoli in the center only for a couple minutes. And here we are plating our dish. This is the only part I help with. And eating. I helped eating. So we're placing our healthy, delicious salmon on the plate and our broccoli raw to the side. And we're placing some potatoes in the middle. And I will be honest with you and tell you, after finishing my meal, I came back for seconds of more potatoes. It was absolutely delicious. And here you have it, friends, the final product. I hope you enjoyed this other cooking session with my mom. Let me know in the comments below if you like my cooking with mom videos, and I'll try to convince her to cook with me again. I hope you have a relaxing rest of your day.